Okay, how's everybody doing? January 1st, 2025, first day of the new year. So, I want to talk about um, what we're going through in this world today, which is I think people are getting poorer, more poor by the day, and they will continue to get more poor probably throughout the year 2025. I see this as being a kind of a rough year for most people, but don't be, I don't want to start the year off in a negative note because I've got a remedy for to keep you from being more poor as the year goes on. If you listen to the rest of the video, first I'll tell you why you're poor, why you're going to get poorer. We live in a dollar economy, and the dollar economy failed a long time ago. It failed way back in probably 2008, maybe even before that. And you know it failed because the government keeps propping it up with extravagant measures like too big to fail and all these things, bailing out banks, bailing out automotive companies, bailing out everybody. And the reason they bail everybody out and they keep bailing everybody out is because the one thing you can count on, absolutely you stake everything on and know that you're going to be right every time, is that they're not going to let trap prices go back down. They're not going to let value of assets retrace and go back lower, because that would be deflationary. And the one thing they will never, ever, ever, ever allow to happen is for deflation to come back into our economy. They can't let that happen, because if inflation comes back, assets start to go back, become less valuable, and then everybody becomes poorer. And then not everybody, but the rich people become poor because other people own most of the assets in the world. They become poorer, and the economy collapses. And of course, the rich people, they lose a lot of money when things become less valuable. Why? The reason that most people we've lost our middle class and most people are losing their wealth is because as the government keeps printing more and more money, and they keep propping up assets and making them more and more valuable, even though they actually should have come down in value a long time ago. They just make them more and more valuable. Nice, man. Nice. I just love those cars. You can't even hear how much that is, how loud that is for me. Probably doesn't show up in the video. But anyway, the reason they allow things to become more and more valuable is because the rich people acquire more and more. So if you're a rich person, let's say, just say own farmland, you own a lot of farmland. As the price of farmland keeps going higher, and the people that may own less farmland or not very much farmland can't afford to farm it, or can't afford to even keep it up, take care of it. They lose it to the people that have the more farms, all of the farmland, because they just keep the farmland keeps increasing in value because of inflation and because the government keeps printing money. So in this dollar-denominated economy, the rich are going to get richer and the poor are going to get poorer, because the rich own everything, and it keeps inflating in value because they won't allow anything to fail or anything to go back to probably values that it should be at, where most people can afford things. Things just keep getting more and more expensive. So that's the world we live in, and I'm afraid that it's going to get a lot worse, because I think this year is probably going to be, if anything, you're going to see the price of what we saw in 2024 was massive inflation. Nobody even can put a number on it, calculate it, because I think is off the charts. But I think 2025 is going to be even worse. And there's a lot of inflationary things going on right now. I think the new administration, Trump administration, is going to spend a lot of money. And then you have a lot of the policies that he's starting to implement, which people are going to be very, very in favor of. They're going to be very expensive. And this is going to cause a lot of things to go up in value. And it's going to be good for Trump. He's going to love that, because his billionaire buddies will get more wealthy. They'll acquire more and more things. And the average person is going to either have to sell what they own because they can't afford to live in these high prices, or they'll just eventually, have to just give up everything they own just to come up with enough money to exist. So yeah, we're in an inflationary time. It's going to get worse, and things are going to get more expensive. If you have something and it goes up in value, and you cannot continue to hold on to it, because if you own a building and you have to continue to do maintenance and upkeep on it, and the tenants can't afford to rent, or you own rental property and they can't afford to rent, you can't afford to make the improvements or make the upgrades, then you end up just losing the property. And then the person that has a lot of properties just ends up acquiring your property because they get a lot more. Their properties keep going up in value. So this is not because everything's doing well. It's only because the government has chosen to have an inflationary economy where nothing ever goes down in value. Everything just continues to go up. And as it goes up, those people with a lot of money just keep getting more and more money, and those people without a lot of money just keep getting poorer and poorer. And that's probably going to be a greater percentage of us every day are going to keep getting poorer and poorer and poorer, while the people that have a lot are going to keep getting richer, richer, and richer. And that's the dollar economy that we've lived under for a long time. Like I say, should have failed a long time ago, but they haven't allowed it to fail. But it's so known that it has failed. It's funny, whenever I make a video like this, everybody says, yeah, and the dollar's dead and the dollar's dying. And then, the comments are always about the dollar being dead. And it is dead. It died a long time ago. And it's not going to come back. And we're not the only people that know. Everybody knows it. The rich people know it. The poor people know it. Everybody knows it. But nobody knows what to do about it. Everybody just says, well, what do? You can't make a job. If you can't, jobs don't make any money. If you make a job with inflation and the price of assets, you're never going to be able to get anywhere. Just look at houses in Southern California. They're $1 million a piece. How many people can come to Southern California, move to Southern California, get a typical job and buy $1 million home? Nobody. It's you can't do it. So you can't survive on a job or a salary. The only way you can survive is maybe if you come to Southern California 40 years ago and you bought 3 or 4 homes, and now you have 3 or 4 homes and they've all gone up from maybe you paid less than $100,000 or maybe even less than $50,000, and now they're $1 million. Well, you've made a lot of money. So now you can afford to live in Southern California, and you can afford to rent out your properties for a lot of money because they've all appreciated in value, and the rents have gone up at the same time. So you can't afford to rent, and you can't afford to work. You've had to sometime in the past acquired something that improved in value, and as they keep on inflating things, it keeps improving more in value. And you got to hope that inflation stays ahead of how much money they're printing and all the prices that are increasing. And I don't think that's going to be. I think it's getting worse and worse by the day, and I think it's going to be really bad this year. And like I say, I think this works right into Trump's hands. What he wants to do, he's got his buddy Elon Musk, who's got a lot of money, who's going to be overseeing what the government spends. And I don't think he's going to be very sympathetic for people that that are struggling in this economy. They don't care. They're for the people they think, the people that are the doers in the world, the people that they think own things, and those are the people they're going to cater to, and not the people that are just trying to get ahead or struggling to stay ahead or in a financial bind. You're going to be in bigger problems. But the only thing I say, and I saw this on one of Michael Saylor's videos the other day. He says, sell your assets and buy Bitcoin. And I'm starting to think that's not a bad plan. Just sell the assets and sell it. So if you've got a few assets, you can't keep up with this inflation. You can't continue to keep your assets so that you like a building or anything, a house or anything like that. You can't continue to make maintenances and make improvements and keep it up to the quality that you need to have it up to in order for it to be rentable, or people to rent it out and pay the big rents that people are having to pay today, and what people have to do in order to be in a place. You can't keep that going. I think you're better off if you just sell it and buy Bitcoin. So the remedy to all this inflation, to this dollar economy that is never going to retract in prices, is just to keep on buying Bitcoin. Because as inevitable as it is that prices will never go back, will never go through the deflationary times, the other inevitable thing is that there's only so many Bitcoin, and there's getting to be more and more people realizing that there's more and more people chasing those few Bitcoin, and they're going to just keep pushing the price of Bitcoin higher and higher and higher. That's inevitable. It's got to happen. There's nothing that's going to stop it. If you listen to a guy like Saylor, he pretty much rolls that out for you. He tells us he does a pretty good job at telling you how that's going to work. It's just going to keep going. And when you got guys like Saylor who just get more and more wealthy has more and more Bitcoin, and as Bitcoin price keeps going up, and he just keeps on buying, it's just going to keep going up. So it could very easily be $1 million here very soon. And very soon, probably within the next few years, be $1 million Bitcoin. That's 10 times where it's at right now. So I don't know of anything place else, any major asset, real estate, land, whatever buildings, whatever else you could own. I don't know any of it's going to go up tenfold in the next. Yeah, I'm in a crazy place. He said, stop filming me. I don't know if he meant it or not. Probably just joking around. So I don't know anything that's going to go up tenfold in the next few years, but I think Bitcoin will. I appreciate you watching.